As we welcome you to Bleav in Chargers with the great Lorenzo Neal, Matt Money Smith here. Unfortunately, low coming off another loss. We'll dig into it in depth as we kind of get a little bit deeper into the podcast here. But I think perfect time for us to sort of set the tone, to set up this pod as the team is now through 5 games. They are, or I should say, through 6 games, basically a third of the season. They're 2-4. We discussed it coming out of the Dallas game, going into the Chiefs game, about maybe how important it would be to be 3-3 at this point. But I guess I want to set the tone with this. This is sort of the window of the season that fans can look at, that people in the media can look at and say, this is where you make your bones. This is where the season will be decided. The Cowboys were a 12-win team last year. The Chiefs have been to the AFC Championship game 5 consecutive times. Perhaps they're in a level that's above the Chargers. Bears, Jets, Lions, Packers, Ravens, Patriots, Broncos, Raiders. That's 8 games. That is an 8 game at 2-4. That is an 8-game window where you feel the Chargers should be able to compete in every single one of those games and perhaps be favored in 6 to 7 of them.
Yeah, they should be. Maybe with the exception if you talk about where the Ravens, how they looked
Right.
against Detroit, and probably Detroit and the Ravens, those 2 games.
Right.
You look at those 2 and say, maybe not favored. But the rest of them, it's a pick 'em or they're favored. The biggest thing, Matt, and you know this, and you and I, we talk about it week in and week out, is the Chargers' ability to play above the competition and stop playing below the competition. Now, Kansas City, let's face it, we can say what you want. Kansas City maybe doesn't look as good as they need to, but they find a way. See, good teams find a way to win ball games, and bad teams find a way to lose ball games. So when you think about this Chargers team, you say, well, who are they? Are they going to be scheduled to win these games? And next, you look at the 8 games you went off the schedule, the Bears, all those different things that you put out. But those teams can compete. And those teams
Sure.
are the Chargers. What Chargers will we get? And that's the thing, Matt, that I haven't been able to put my finger on, and nor have you, is what Charger team is going to show up when you're playing a team that you're better than, a la the Nashville Titans, the Tennessee Titans, when you're playing a team that you should win and you're in a favorable place, a la the Dallas Cowboys coming off of a loss to the Niners, playing at home, having a chance in SoFi. Those opportunities don't come around often. And so that's what I want to know, and that's what I want to see. And I think that's what the fans are wondering. Can the Chargers elevate their game to the games, at least the ones they know they should win?
It's a perfect place to start, Lo, as someone who played and played at a high level. And it's, you said it. You said, Matt, I do, because I've seen it for 7 years, or at least for a number of the years inside the 7 years I've been calling these games. This is a team's got to figure out how to win, and I don't
Right.
know. I don't know what that means. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. They find ways to snatch defeat from the hands of victory, and they have leads, and the defense will give up a touchdown. The defense makes a stop. The offense, led by Justin Herbert, gets the ball back when maybe all they need, like against Miami, is a field goal to win the game. Not even a touchdown, but a field goal to win the game. They win the coin toss in overtime against the Titans. So you can take this offense and march down the field and get a victory. What is it? What as someone who's been part of successful teams, Lo, what is it that is missing that teams win games? They know how to win. It's
Yeah.
certainly something that's missing here.
Yeah. We stepped on a team. It's tough sometimes to go to yesterday years because people say, oh, well, we don't want to hear about that. That was your team. It's still different players. I get it. We were 14-2. I knew that I was going to go on the field, man, and I knew I was going to kick someone's you know what. I knew that if I had 2-1 behind me and I would say, get on my hip and don't dip. I knew that I can go over the lights out and go to Sean Phillip and say, hey, we need to play. Get us the ball back. And we need the ball back. Go to Big Jamal and say, we need the ball back. If you get us the ball back, we're going to go down and score. I could walk over to Gates. All right, Gates, it's your turn. Gates, your time. And he would go and take over. You had guys on that team that would say, okay, we won't let you lose. LT tell the defense, I won't let you lose. Sean would tell him, I ain't letting you lose. And once that starts permeating on teams, That's what's missing to me, because you have a Justin Herbert that can go out and he's a thermostat. It's different between a thermostat and a thermometer. We talked about it. A thermometer, it measures temperature. A thermostat regulates temperature. Justin Herbert is a thermostat. Khalil Mack is a thermostat. So you have guys, Bosa, you have guys that are supposed to be thermostat and not just thermometers. Yeah, you have thermometers that are just go out there and just do their job and be that guy because they know thermostats are around them. What does this team need? Because you went out and said, I need pass rushers. Okay, I need a corner. Okay, I got to get the receiver. We got to get these certain places. And the organization has done that and got these players that on paper that can deliver, and you haven't been able to cash in. And in real estate, we like to call it the ROI, the return on investment. And that's what's missing, the return on investment, but not enough thermostats that can go out and regulate and take the game over. The players are there. They're just taking turns failing each other. And that's the thing, Matt, you're saying what's missing. Last week, look at the defense in Kansas City. That was a ball game that the defense played well the first half. Your offense inability to score and do the things you needed to do against the Cowboys. You watch, and then Tennessee, the defense didn't do as well. So when you think about this team collectively, they haven't played a full game where offense and defense and special teams have shown up together. Right. That's what's missing, in my opinion, Matt.
Yeah, there's no complimentary football, and again, we'll dig a little deeper into the Chiefs game, but just to use, what you had mentioned as a jumping off point, right? The offense trades punches with the Chiefs all first half long. They match a field goal for field goal, a touchdown for touchdown, a touchdown for touchdown. It's 17-17 with under 2 minutes to go. Defense was terrible. They gave up, Mahomes was 21-22. At one point in that first half and had thrown for over 300 yards, but the offense was there to match until the very last possession when they went up 24-17. Then in the second half, as you mentioned, defense shows up. All right, we gave up 300 in the first half, gave up 103 in the second half, and just a single touchdown that came off of a 51-yard punt return. Well, the offense got shut out. And it's just odd. And it's been that way all year. It's been that way all year long, where for whatever reason, the entire side of a football will disappear for a half at a time, a quarter at a time. We have not seen a punt return like that, against the Chargers in 2 years. And it came at the absolute worst possible time when you got to go win a game. And instead, a unit that had been absolutely rock solid, punt team had been rock solid. I mean, you're talking about first last year in the league in punt return yards allowed. I think it was under 4. I think it was 3.6 yards per return or something like that. And this year they were right back there, right in the top 5. And there's the 51-yarder at the most inopportune time. And again, I think Brandon Staley, I give him credit for acknowledging it. He said, look, that's on me. That's 100% on me. If for whatever reason we can't get these units to be in sync and perform at their highest levels at the same time, we know they can do it because they do it at different points of the game. So that's something that he acknowledged very well is probably coaching. And they've got to figure out what it is, why these players aren't executing for 60 minutes a game and instead in these different spurts. And I can't imagine the frustration in trying to figure it out when it's there, when you see it for a half, and why can't we apply that to the second half? What has that opponent done that has changed things so dramatically?
Right. And you know what, man? I like Coach Staley.
Yeah.
He's always treated me with great respect. You know how he is. He's very communicable. You can communicate with him. He'll have a meeting with you. This guy, he's open office. You don't get a lot of coaches like that. A lot of coaches are too good. They don't want to be in the media, and they don't want to necessarily share. This guy has opened up his locker room to veteran players. I mean, I feel for the first time in a long time that you can go back there as a veteran, as an older player, a retired player, and Staley is like, hey, look, how you doing, man? I remember what you did. I remember what you did for this organization. He is an unbelievable coach. But it's sort of like this, man. You have kids and you have a wife, and sometimes I watch my girl and my son, how, growing up, okay, mom say stop. And the kids, they keep going. And they love mom. And I'm gonna tell your dad, no, I'm gonna tell your dad when you get home, I'm telling dad, and the kids, the mom tells you, the wife tells you, I told them when they get home, they're scared, they're being angels once I threatened them with dad. And sometimes, Matt, there's coaches that these guys they love, coaches that they want to win for, coaches that but just something is missing. And it's not that, and they with something about a dad or someone has that bravado, and sometimes your dad's not liked. And I just don't know. I can't put my hand on it. Is that what it is with Staley? Like, look, they want to win for him. They want to play for him. They want his job because they know what he does for these men and the way that he respects them. But is it returned? And sometimes mentally, as a kid, you remember that mom tell you, "Hey, when you get home, Matt, Dad's gonna get you when you get home." And you just like something about that. You like, okay, I better go clean up. I better try harder. I better do better because Dad is just different. So I just don't know if Staley has that effect because it's too much talent. He's too good of a man, and he's a great coach, but it's not producing on the field.
Yeah, it's a perfect place to reset and dig into that Sunday afternoon contest against the Chiefs because Andy Reid certainly has his guys believing in what he's selling. All right, Lo, let's get into it. It is a game against the Chiefs, and as we said, these games had always been tight in the past. Herbert had always performed at a very high level. And this game was a little bit different. We scratched the surface on it before, and I don't think we need to we don't need to rehash all the stats. The stats are what they are. They gave up 400 yards passing for the second time this season, and Kirk Cousins threw for 367 against him. They gave up another 150-plus yard receiver, like they did to Tyreek Hill with 215, Justin Jefferson at 148. Well, now it was Travis Kelce, 179. The thing that I think is incredibly frustrating is that, to borrow the phrase, from my broadcast partner on the games, Daniel Jeremiah, they're taking the right hand. You see it coming. Here it comes. It's Travis Kelce. It's Justin Jefferson. It's Tyreek Hill. It's CeeDee Lamb. And they're just getting cracked with it every single game. And I can't, look, there's a reason why these premium players are all pros. And they're very good, and they're the highest compensated players. What they do, they're very good. But it would just be, I think it'd be nice to see a team with all this talent and $112 million committed on defense have somebody else beat them. Have it be Isaiah Pacheco. Have it be Rashee Rice. Have it be Sky Moore that goes for 130 and 2 touchdowns because Travis Kelce was shut down. That's what I think is step one. You can't let DJ Moore beat you this week for the Bears. Let it be anybody else.
Right. Right. And I think Matt, you're absolutely right. You what you're saying, you're spot on. And all things being equal, like I said, man, players are gonna make plays because Kelsey's just a player. CeeDee Lamb is going to get his, like you're saying. And you're not saying these players aren't going to get theirs, but don't let them beat you. Don't let them get in
180 yards.
Exactly. And those are the things that and you know what? I could even live with that if you're stopping them from getting the end zone. If you can take the ball and say, okay, you drove the ball from the 10-yard line all the way to our 20 and you missed the field goal. Or you took the ball from our 1 and you took it all the way to the 5 and you kicked the field goal and you made the field goal. Keep teams to 3. Don't let teams get in the end zone. So those players can do what they need to do as long as you keep them out of the end zone. And that's what the Chargers aren't doing. They're letting these guys have big days, but they're also letting the team score. So you got to stop the opponent from getting in the end zone. You like in the first half, look at the Chargers, give up 300 and some yards, but you held them to 17, or a punt, field goal, a punt return killed you at the second half. So you can bend, but don't break. The Chargers are bending and they're breaking. That's the difference, Matt, that you watch this Kansas City game and you watch this Kansas City team. They bend, they give up a ton of yards at time, but they bend, but they don't break. You can't bend and break. You're not going to win ball games.
Yeah. I think something that is a little disconcerting, and like you said, the players, love Coach Staley. You can see it. They do.
Oh, yeah.
But they're frustrated. Michael Davis, he does not have a first-round pedigree to lean on when someone's going to come to him in free agency. This is his last year of his deal. He's making $10 million this year. lost his starting job last year when they signed J.C. Jackson, got it back after injury, played at an all-pro level the final 8-9 weeks of the season. He was exceptional. He's one of the best press corners out there. And in that game against Kansas City, when Mahomes is 21 of 22 for 300 yards at some point in the first half, and you're watching guys sit down in spots, drop back after drop back, and it's Travis Kelce wide open. It's Rice wide open. It's Marquez Valdez-Scantling wide open. And then they make the adjustment. And I know they weren't playing straight zone. They were playing matchup zone. They're trying to pass these guys off, from one defender to the next. It's not as simple as man versus zone. I get that. But they started pressing in the second half. And Michael Davis started pressing. And he started getting up in there. And so did Derwin on Travis Kelce. And the guy had 30 yards in the second half. And after the game, you heard that frustration, when he said we were in zone. And they were just sitting down. And he's like, Travis is a great player, but it wasn't him. It was us. And and he said, we got to get at you, some different language, but he said, we got to get after their tail. You know that when you play Kansas City. You go in there, you play press man, and you get after it. And we didn't. And he was frustrated.
But he's absolutely right. Matt, when you're playing man to man and you're pressing a guy, especially if you don't miss him at the line, it's so important, it's so brutal that you jam him at the line, that you get him 1,001, 1,002. Okay, now he's released. Now Mahomes have to look away, especially if the safety's playing over the top or if you're bracketing. So you can play press man and say, I'm taking away the inside. I know my safety's on the outside, or I know the corner. I know the linebacker's going to hook the curl, so he's got that zone. So I can't get beat inside. I have to take away the inside. So now when you have Mahomes with the ball and he sees the guy taking inside shade away and he's jamming him and he's forcing Kelce out and he sees the linebacker dropping on coverage, his eyes go off of that. And that's when you see him start to look around. He has to extend plays with his legs. And that's when you have to go ahead and get on him. And that's what they didn't do in the first half. They let Mahomes be comfortable in the pocket. Let Kelce have a two-way go because he has those read routes and he has free range. So here's the deal. Like he said, we were playing zone. He's right, but you can't be right because Kelce knows you're playing in the zone. So instead of going in, he's going to go out. Instead of going out, he's going to go in. So him and Mahomes, they have that figured out. It's a free range. And Mahomes and him they're in such sync together. It's unbelievable. You even see their girls now. They're in sync. They're doing handshakes and spinning around. They're getting in sync, bro. You know what's coming, Matt. Come on, help me out here.
That's the defensive side, and we know it's got to get better. They have a chance to allow 300 yards passing per game, and that's what they're allowing right now for the first time by any defense in the NFL since 2011. It has been 12 years since a team has allowed their opponents to average 300 yards passing, and right now, that's what the Chargers are doing against their opponents. It's got to get better, but the offense also has to get fixed. We talked, and you saw it through the first couple games and how comfortable Justin Herbert looked, and the deep shots were there, and his air yards per attempt were the highest that they've been since his rookie season. But it still looks different, man. I so desperately would love for someone to sit down with Justin Herbert and play him tape from 2020 and just say, I want you to watch this Justin Herbert. I want you to watch just the feel, the innate connection that he has with the game and these shot plays to Mike Williams, to undrafted free agent rookies like Jalen Guyton and claimed off a practice squad, Tyron Johnson. Like, dude, he is lighting the league on fire. He is launching 50-yard missiles down the field. And I think Joe Lombardi came in and he got him into this Drew Brees. And this is a credit to Justin. He's so good at his progressions and getting through them quickly that as soon as he sees the first open man, it's gone. And it's like, no, that's not. I want that Justin back that was comfortable in the pocket and was willing to kind of let it collapse a little bit because he wanted that shot. I know that's there for 3, but let's see if this sluggo's working. And then I'll figure it out from there. And I saw it. It just crystallized for me in that Kansas City game. It was a 3rd and 5, and Keenan comes up. His progression's right to left, and Keenan flashes open in the middle of the field. And, man, if he had just got to his next progression, it's Q on a slant, and he is wide open, and he has taken that thing 50, 60 yards, but he throws it to Keenan. Willie Gay reads his eyes, jumps up, bats the pass down. They have to punt. And it's just, I want to get back to that Herbert from 2020 when it was a little bit more feel and a little bit less. Here's the play. Here's your progressions. Go. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's crystal. It makes sense. And what happens, Matt, is guys get comfortable. And I think that you have Justin and Keenan, they're comfortable. They know each other. They know what's going to happen. And they're in a rhythm. And so he's going to die on that hill. And instead of in the earlier years, yesterday years, it's like, hey, look, no one's in his ear. It's like, okay, let this rookie play. Just let him hunt. Let him cook. So
Right.
now he's looking for open guys. And it's like, I'm just going to go where the ball needs to go. And I'm going to take care of that. And I'm not necessarily going to be caught in my mind that, okay, my security blank is Keenan. Because at times you see when Keenan went down, you see other guys like, okay, now he's forced to try. When he has superstars, sometimes he goes to that superstar too much, in my opinion.
Right.
Now, like you're saying, when that first year, he's just letting it go around the park. He's slinging it in the playground. He's just like, I'm letting it go. I don't care. I'm gonna play foot free and fancy free and let it happen. And now when you don't have that and people are in your head and you're doing that, and now you come, okay, I'm not taking the chances that I should take. I should force this ball downfield. I should hold on this because I know that slug was coming open. Oh, I know that teams are thinking the same thing. They're like, oh my God, let's take away Keenan, play Keenan because that's his first look. Look, guys, he's going to go to Keenan. And now once you do that, now they're saying, okay, let's take this guy away and the other guys can beat you. And Justin's good enough to beat you with other guys because of his arm strength. And he has speed on the outside. He has these guys that can win. Now Justin has to trust the process and trust the system and say, look, Keenan, look, my guy, you're going to get plenty. You know you and I, but hey, I'll just let you know, I'm going to have to push the ball and I'm going to have to do other things if we're going to have to get back in this season because right now we're outside looking in. And it's going to take a lot for this team to get back in contentions. Forget winning it just to make it the playoffs.
All right. Well, let's then look forward here as the Bears come to town for Sunday Night Football. All right, Lo. It's a Bears team that obviously started out horribly. You think about what the Packers did to them and then how they looked against the Chiefs. Justin Fields had really struggled. They've won 2 of their last 3 games. They've been competitive, and it looks like it's going to be Tyson Bagent that comes in, the undrafted free agent rookie out of Division II Shepherd. And you could not have 2 different completely different quarterbacks. Justin Fields, who holds on to the ball too long, who will see a lane, take it, and can gash you for 60 yards on the ground with that athleticism, but struggles to feel the passing game. Bagent, that ball is out. That ball is out. He reads the field well. The numbers aren't eye-popping. He's still an athlete. He can still run with the ball, but it's a game where the Chargers have to be sound tacklers. And I think the Bears kind of got maybe a little bit of a bad rep based on the early games. It seems as though they've settled down a little bit. The defense has been better. They took away 3 balls, 3 picks in that game against the Raiders. They hammered them. And Bagent kind of leaned on D'Onta Foreman in that run game and getting that ball out quick. And they put 30 on the board. This is a much better team, I think, than some people recognize.
Oh, no question. Bagent can play football. And especially if you give him a complimentary running game. And what Chicago does well, I think you'll agree, Matt, is they play good defense. Fundamentally defense, they want to get after you. They keep everything in front of you. Let's tackle. They'll sit on routes. They don't, I think you can double move them at times because of the fact they want to sit on it and they just play sound defense. They're going to sit Bagent back there and they're going to run the ball and try to say, look, let's go out here and keep this game close. If you're playing against a Charger, you say keep it close, they'll find a way to lose the game. They're going to have to play. They're going to play a Chicago team that they cannot let them get loose to running the ball because now Bagent's going to be in 3rd and short. Like you said, he lets that ball get out of his hands. This is a game that the Chargers now have to put their big boy pads on and understand you get ready to play a physical type of game because they don't think the quarterback can beat them. But if he has a good complementary run game, then his success even elevates. So this is going to be a game that they are going to have to shut down the run game. That's going to be the key for the Chargers to win this game. Keep them under 100 yards, 85 yards rushing. You win this game. You win this game.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think your 2 big names are Tuipulotu and Khalil Mack. Set those edges. Kenneth Murray Eric Kendricks, sound tacklers at that level of defense against the run, because they're not going to let Bagent get back there and try to carve you up. I'd play I'd play 2-man. Just, you want to have the shell, have it, but let Mikey Davis get after DJ Moore. Just get his hands in his chest and force those routes and that timing to be off, so Bagent can't put his foot in the ground and try to use Moore, who's an elite receiver in this league. So that's defensively. Offensively, again, let's see if we can get Austin Eckler going. You had that big run from Josh Kelly against the Chiefs for 49 yards, a career high, but Austin's got to get going, and I think that's in the passing game as well. Low, just to put a button on it, he needs to get those 6 to 8 targets that we're just not seeing right now. For whatever reason, Justin's not locating and targeting him enough on those just little routes, those smoke routes, just little quick curls, and let Austin do his thing, man. He always makes the first guy miss. He always plows through the next tackler, and you're looking at 7-8 yards every time you get him the ball in the passing game.
No question. I think Kellen Moore is going to make a conscious effort of that, especially against the Bears. They're going to say, look, guys, hey, Justin, let's get the ball. We're going to have some plays. We're going to get Eckler the ball. Austin needs to have the ball in his hands, like you said, to the screen game, the quick little, angle routes, those little choice routes. He can beat. He's too fast for linebackers. He's too physical for safeties. When you think about Eckler and what he brings in the passing game, it reminds me a little bit of, look at McCaffrey, what he does for the Niners.
Yeah.
Eckler's a little bit even more shiftier than McCaffrey. McCaffrey's, faster and has, a lot of, probably a little stronger. But if you think about Eckler, what he can do in the passing game, the guy can be an absolute nightmare and carve you up. So, yes, I think that they will get him involved in this game. Hey, you got to, not just running the ball, but absolutely in the passing game. And Herbert, he is going to have to let the ball go down the field. This is a game that I know we said last week you wanted to win and must win, but you cannot let everyone else. It's not that it's a must win because you're letting everyone else keep pulling away from you. So you have to bring this back in. You have to find a way. And I know the Chargers know that. And the best remedy for all the complaining is a win. A win solves a lot of problems. These men have to make it personal. These Chargers, man to man, Matt, they have to make this personal that they're going to win this game.
I'll button it with this. It's a great opportunity for the Chargers. They're 2-4. Everyone's complaining about all their primetime games, and they got back-to-back primetime. They got Sunday night against the Bears. Next week, they got Monday night against the Jets. We know Justin Herbert tends to excel in the spotlight. Let's have Herbert go put on a show. Let's put on a show, remind NBC, remind ESPN why they wanted the Bolts in primetime, because they got one of the true superstars in this game, and I want to see him do his thing. I want to see those 350, 400-yard passing games. I know it's going to be tough against the Jets and that defense, but it's a great opportunity. And when we come back next week, we're going to be talking about 3-4, looking at 4-4, and now clawing your way back into this like they were at 6-6 last year before ripping off 4 straight, going 10-6 into that final week of the season.
I'm with you. Let's make it a dogfight. Go Chargers.